Hi, Professor Salchek and the amazing TAs of our leadership development class. My name is Elizabeth Padilla. I'm a third-year family, youth, and community science major from Miami, Florida. And for this leadership interview, the individual I chose to interview and discuss leadership with was Ms. Jill Fall, who happens to be the Assistant Director of New Student and Family Programs, which is one of the functional areas of the University of Florida's Dean of Students office. I met Jill back in fall semester of 2015, which happened to be the first semester that I was attending the University of Florida. And when I met her, I was in the process of not only applying, but I was accepted as an orientation leader for Preview, which happens to be New Student and Family Programs orientation and transition program for both first year students as well as any other incoming students to the University of Florida. At the time when I met her and we began our relationship, I was a freshman student who was really lost in terms of trying to figure out who I was and what I was passionate about, and I lacked guidance and really needed that assistance. And through the process of becoming a Preview staffer and learning what the role entailed and then eventually executing that role and all of my duties, Jill was a mentor for me throughout the entire process. I have admired not only the way that she carries herself as an individual, but also how she has been able to lead by making genuine connections with people, with those that she interacts with, and how she leads by not necessarily being the one up and center, but by really taking a step back, observing and assessing the situation, assessing what people need, and then making it a priority to make those connections, help fulfill the needs of others, and really lead by example. From my freshman year until now, Jill has been someone who has seen my transformation, which has been pretty extended, and the growth of my personal and professional self. And continues to be someone throughout my journey and college experience that as I'm trying to navigate those moments of uncertainty and doubt, I really rely on her expertise, her advice, and her support because I know it's authentic and genuine and that she has my best interest at heart. My main strategy for this interview was to go beyond asking Jill some of the traits and behaviors that she associated with being a leader, but to really understand how her leadership style has changed throughout the years, how her professional role involves leadership, and how she defines what success means to her as a leader. Learning more about Jill's earlier leadership roles has really given me insight into how and why Jill leads the way she does, and how she has learned to embrace some of her natural leadership skills. For example, in high school, she explained to me that she served as one of 4 captains of her swim team, but she constantly questions her ability to lead and be a captain because she recognized that she was one of the slower swimmers on her team and that she was definitely not the fastest and not the one who always won the medals or the competitions. However, one moment that has stuck with her is when her coach pulled her aside and emphasized that she was the glue of the team and that's why she was a captain. Because winning wasn't necessarily her priority, it was making sure that the team's morale was high and that people felt valued and that they believed that they could do it. And when she realized this, she really embraced her capacity to make connections and her ability to motivate people. And she has focused on this aspect of leadership and has continued to embed it in her professional roles today. Currently, the Dean of Students office and her department, specifically NSFP, have been experiencing many transitions in terms of employees that are working there and the change of roles and positions. And this has all happened fairly quickly within the past few months. And throughout this difficult process, Jill has continued to take on that morale role, making sure that team members are supporting one another and really protecting those relationships with coworkers as they are trying to embrace all this quick incoming change. because she knows that protecting those relationships and making sure that people feel supported and validated and heard is what's really going to help their team embrace and conquer these changes and figure out a new dynamic at work. I always viewed Jill as someone who seems very put together, who has very few flaws, if any, and who seems like the perfect leader. Throughout the interview, Jill emphasized that we are people first, before we are professionals, before we are leaders, or before we are students. That message during the interview reminded me that Jill is an individual who's still growing and recognizes that she needs to challenge herself to embrace difficult changes. She admitted that although she's taking on more responsibility in her professional role as transitions are happening within her department, she still needs to not be proud and ask for help. A leader is someone who is humble and relationship focused. She explained that a leader is no better than their followers and that it's important, again, to make sure that we realize that we are people first and it's about the people that we are trying to lead. She noted that communication is extremely important in every role because you cannot create change without communicating what the problem is or what you need from a leader. She values a strong work ethic and commitment to either your profession or your team. And she realizes this because when you have someone who has such a strong work ethic and is committed to whatever project or task is at hand, it makes investing in that individual so much easier and the buyout worth so much more. Most importantly, Jill touched upon being vulnerable and authentic as a leader. The best thing you can do is not try to fulfill the position of someone before you or the leadership and the way they handle situations, but to really break that mold and to be yourself and own it. After our interview, my respect and admiration for Jill grew even more. When asked how she defined success as a leader, she described that success was not settling and staying comfortable, but about finding ways to improve and be better. As someone who values relationships, she explains that she knows she succeeded as a leader when she recognizes the small wins of students she's worked with in the past. One moment of success for her was being able to see me share my story with mental health at our 2017 preview retreat, where I came back as a facilitator and was helping prepare the newest selected preview staffers for their journey. Being able to speak about my mental health issues and those difficulties was a moment of success for Jill because it was something that I was learning to be comfortable with, and it was a very vulnerable side that I had to share with everyone. And she guided and prompted me to do it. And being able to see me stand up on that stage and share this intimate story with people I did not know, for her was knowing that she was successful and that she had done her job as a leader and as a mentor and as a person who cared about me. Overall, the entire leadership interview was such an eye-opening experience, and Jill shared with me so much insightful information and valuable lessons that I'll take with me. But one piece of information that she had actually learned from her mentor that she shared with me and has stuck with me was this idea that as leaders, you can only control the controllables. You may not be able to handle how others are going to behave in a certain situation or how they're going to react to change or react to a problem. But as a leader, you have the ability and the power to choose how you want to handle a problem. You choose what you want to gain from a certain experience. And you also get to choose where you want to invest your time and energy. It's important to be confident and thoughtful with your decisions, and to remember that leadership involves balancing a very fine line between being selfish and being selfless. And you do that in order to not only become a better person and individual, but you're also doing that to help really transform those around you as well.